Hey you guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So this is another episode of my Foodie Fridays where I come up with one recipe to share during the week that I'm feeding my family. And I pick it out of a recipe book or online and Instagram. So I'm actually taking it out of a book that I've used for two of my recipes, and it is the Skinnytaste cookbook by Gina Homolka. We're gonna be making and sorry if I screw this up, but Colombian Carne Asada with ajad picante. I don't know if I said that right. This looks delicious, does it not? So this is just a steak and it has like a salsa type thing that you would put on it. I'm gonna be showing you the steak, and then I'm just gonna be pairing dinner with some potatoes, and I think I'm just gonna do like a little baked potato, cut it up, and some roasted Brussels sprouts. So that's gonna be dinner tonight. But I wanted to show you guys how to make the steak because it just looks delicious. So I'm gonna go through all the ingredients like I always do, show you exactly what you need, and then we'll go through the whole process on how to cook the steak. So first thing you need is 1.5 pounds of flank steak, which I have defrosting. It's almost done. And then you're gonna need 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, a 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, some kosher salt. I use pink salt, so a 1/2 teaspoon of the Himalayan pink salt, some freshly cracked black pepper. You're gonna need a tablespoon of olive oil, 3 garlic cloves crushed. I just used my already peeled ones in the jar. You're gonna need 3 scallions or green onions, and you're gonna cut them into 1-inch lengths. I had 3 left, thank God, and I just have them cut up on my board, on my chopping board. And then you're gonna need 3/4 cup of a Corona light beer. So yeah, I have one of those. And then for the ajad picante, I think that's how you pronounce it, I have no idea. You're gonna need 2 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, a 1/2 tablespoon of some distilled white vinegar, a 1/4 cup of finely chopped scallions, some cilantro. You're gonna need a 1/4 cup of seeded and finely chopped tomatoes. You can add in some jalapenos minced, and then some salt. But that's like after. So first we're gonna start cutting up the steak. We're gonna season it, and then it's actually gonna sit in a glass pan. So one of these like shallow glass baking pans. That's what you're gonna put the steak in, and you're gonna have it sit in the fridge for about 3 hours. You can let it sit for a day if you want to, overnight. Just to let all the seasonings marinate into the steak, but we're eating this tonight, so I'm gonna cook it. It is now 1:30. I'm gonna get it all prepared so that by the time I start cooking dinner, it's already been in the fridge and tasting delicious, because I'm so excited to eat this. And then you're just gonna need a small bowl. I just grabbed this to put your seasonings in to mix them all together, and that's gonna be the rub for your steak. So let's get started. Okay guys, first direction is to place the steak on your cutting board. And then you need a nice sharp knife. So you want to lightly score the steak about 1/8 inch deep on both sides in a crisscross pattern at a 1/2 inch interval. Okay. So you're just gonna score it.
And then we're gonna turn it, and we're gonna go this way. Hang on, get that done completely.
I'm gonna turn it over and do the same on the other side. You can remove any fat. I don't really like extra fat.
cut this piece off. Okay, that grosses me out. Alright, so we're going to do the same on this side. Ew, it's like bloody. And then turn it. Do the same this way.
You're gonna take your steak and you're gonna place it in your glass dish. Now I'm gonna wash my hands. So now steak is in your glass dish. You need a bowl. We're gonna put all our seasonings in here. So I'm gonna need this. So we're gonna need the cumin, the oregano, the salt, and a few turns of pepper. And I'm actually gonna measure these though. So cumin, we need 1 teaspoon, oregano, 1/2 teaspoon. I can't read. So here's 1 teaspoon.
I love cumin. It's probably like one of my favorite seasonings to use. I like that like spicy, like Mexican-y taste. Alright. Now we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. You really just need a small bowl for this, not a large one. And then for salt, just a 1/2 teaspoon again. I'm running low on my pink salt, of course. Okay. And then a few times of black pepper. I love black pepper, so.
Okay, then you're just gonna mix this up. You have all your seasonings here. And before I do anything else, I'm just gonna take out my 3 garlic cloves and I'm gonna chop them up. So I'm actually gonna do it over here because this still has the meat stuff on it.
Just chopping up the garlic. Okay, just so I have that ready for the next step.
All right, so we have our steak here. Let me back you up a little bit so you can see. So now you wanna rub olive oil. We're gonna take the garlic that we just cut up. We're gonna take a tablespoon of olive oil. We're gonna rub it on both sides of the steak. Get it all in there. And take the garlic. And rub it all over. You can mince your garlic smaller if you want. We have some more garlic here. All right, then we're gonna take the seasonings that we mixed up in the bowl. And we're gonna rub that in too. So I'm gonna sprinkle like half of it on this side. Rub that in. Get it in there well. Try and get the little garlic pieces like in the grooves if you have a lot of it. I'm gonna turn it over. Add the rest of the seasonings. Rub that all in. All right, I'm just gonna wash my hands because now I have to crack the beer. All right, you guys, I've got 3/4 cup of a Corona light beer. And now you're gonna take the Corona beer and you're gonna take your 3 scallions and you're gonna rub that all over your steak. You wanna coat both sides. So I got some of my scallions here. And this you're gonna pour. And the beer kind of tenderizes the meat. Make sure it's coated with your scallions. Flip it over. You want to turn the steak over a few times, making sure it's covered. Okay, now we're gonna cover the dish and we're gonna place it in the fridge for about 3 hours. So I actually have a cover for this dish, but you can just cover it in plastic if you don't have one. Okay guys, so we're gonna let that sit in the fridge for about 3 hours and then I'll come back in a little bit when it's all finished and show you the next couple steps. I'm gonna add my green onions that I had earlier. Then you need a 1/4 cup of cilantro. I just have a whole bunch here. I love cilantro, so I'm just gonna be cutting this up and adding it to my bowl. Okay. And then we're gonna add the lime juice, the vinegar, and the water. Next, I'm going to be adding some jalapenos. You obviously don't need to add this if you don't want to. I love jalapenos. Then it calls for a little bit of salt. Some pepper. I'm just going to mix this up. You can add more tomatoes. You can make your tomatoes smaller if you want. I like them like this. Okay. And all you're gonna do is cover this, put it in the fridge till you need to use it. It is about 5 o'clock. My steak was in the fridge for 3 hours, a little bit over. I'm going to be starting my oven at 450 degrees. And let that heat up. The recipe calls for you to go and put the steak on the grill. I'm not gonna do that. It is absolutely freezing outside and I am not dragging a grill out of a garage into the snow. So I hope you guys liked this recipe. I think we're on episode 4 of Foodie Fridays, and give this a thumbs up if you guys are liking this series, and if you have any suggestions on some recipes that you want me to cook, leave it in the comments below. I definitely love reading all your comments and responding to you guys, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.